Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sunny here, and this is the next to last episode of the entire series. Next week is the season finale of Resident Alien, and I'm a little saddened by that. I've really enjoyed the show, but there's also a small part of me that's kind of glad it's ending next week because next week is also the start of Wednesday, and I'm already doing Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and that's a lot of shows to cover. So, anyways, we open in about 138 years ago, back during the famous collapse of the patient's mind, where, as the legend goes, 59 died to save one. Yeah, it was a real tragedy. Anyways, this will come into play later, as right now we are dealing with everybody's at the mine. As you remember last week, Deputy Liv is being impersonated by the Mantid, and they've all gone into the mine, and she's gone into the mine along with Harry and the sheriff. So Asta comes upon Max and Sahar, and Max tells Asta about the Mantid being Deputy Liv. So Asta's going to go around to the south then, because she knows the mine, because that's where she and all her friends in high school used to party. And then she stops and tells Sahar and Max, no partying in the mine. That nobody ever does that. Anyways, Max then heads into the mine because he has to warn Harry, even though Asta and Sahar both told him not to. So Sahar goes off to find help. Let's see. Okay. Sahar goes and she tells Kate. And while she's talking to Ben about how Max ran away from her. And as soon as he finishes the weirdest competition over who has the longest hair legs. Anyways, they all head to the mine. Now, Max runs into Harry where he tells him about Deputy Liv. Harry thanks him in his way, i.e. he doesn't really thank him, and tells him he has to go. Why? He wants to help. He's like, you're a kid, and if you die, I will never hear the end of the whining from your parents. And then they hear Kate and Ben calling for Max, and he says, see, I can already hear it now. Go. So Max goes to his parents. Harry runs into Liv, where he tells her, I know you're the Mantid. She's like, oh, good, because I hate playing this character. She is so whiny. Oh, I wish I could see an alien. Oh. Anyways, they start to fight, but then Mike comes upon them, and he thinks Harry is the Mantid in disguise. And both Harry and Liv say, no. It's they're pointing back at each other. And then Mike fires. But after the commercial break, Max runs into his parent. After commercial break, we find out he shot Liv. The Mantid gave herself away by calling the sheriff Mike. Liv never calls Mike sheriff. She calls Mike sir. So he empties his shotgun into her, and she runs off. Remember, she can heal herself from that. Max runs into his parents. He demands his taser back. And they get into this argument. He is the only one who can see aliens. They need him. And they agree, but Kate's keeping the taser, especially after he uses it to kill a spider in the cave. I should say overkill. Anyways, they're all running around, and Asta hears her father calling her. But she knows it's not her father because he says things her father would never say. Then she hears other people. She hears Darcy. She hears, people from her past. And she realizes it's the Mantid, and she comes upon Liv and runs away. And Harry and the sheriff and Max and his parents all run into each other, and then two Astas show up. Which one's the real Asta? Max goes, it's her. And the real Asta shoots her in the face with the manticide, which works. And she screams in pain and runs off. Mike fires a shot after her, and the whole tunnel they're in starts to rumble and some rocks fall down. Okay, they can't be firing guns anymore. Of another cave in. And they chase the Mantid into an older section of tunnel where they discover the remains of the one miner that everyone died trying to save. Okay. Well, they can use that to have people come in, document and blah, 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 blah. Then the Mantid grabs Harry. Mantid's no longer in disguise. Harry drops his disguise, and they have a massive fight. And Asta comes up to try and help and gets grabbed in the arm and thrown into a wall where she passes out, which causes Harry to go berserk. And he starts hacking at the Mantid with a pickaxe, part of a pickaxe he's found. And Kate runs up and tasers him in the face. At which point, the Mantid reverts to Liv. Why Liv? Oh, she lets them know, don't feel so proud of yourselves. I wasn't long for this world anyways. And I just changed into this so that you would have one last memory of her before you see what becomes of her and dies. What does that mean? Harry realizes, if the Mantid is dying already, that means it's completed its cycle. It has found someone to mate with, possibly Liv. If Liv, good, because it's 14-day gestation period. If not, and it was someone else, Liv might be left for a food supply for the young when they emerge. At this point, we find out Liv is actually tied up near an egg, along with Robert, Peter's son, who was abducted all those years ago. Well, Asta takes Kate to the clinic because Kate sprained her ankle, and so she's going to get her wrapping. When she finds out she's got an infection on her arm from the Mantid, and passes out. Well, Harry and the sheriff are trying to figure out the Mantid. Max and Ben are at the clinic with Kate, and they call Darcy to come over because Asta might be dying. Well, Leanne shows up at the station where Harry and Mike are and explains about the cocoon she found with the body of Gardner in it. And now she believes Mike and wish she had earlier because Gardner might still be alive. Harry realizes Liv's in trouble. Gardner was the body used for the gestation. At which point Liv's husband shows up. And he says the last he heard of Liv, she was taking Roger to their storage unit to hide. So they all rushed to the storage unit. Not in there. But if they were grabbed by the Mantid there, and they know they were because Leanne found the headless body of the guard, so they have to start searching. But there's so many storage units. And then Asta appears before Harry to give him directions, and Harry realizes Asta's dying. And he wants to go back, but Asta and Mike both tell him, you have to save these people. They are the priority. So she leads them there. And the egg and the young are starting to pop out of the eggs. or the egg. So Harry rips the door down, and he starts squashing them with his feet. But there's so many. How are they ever going to get them? Because they're still coming out of there. And while Leanne and Mike are untying Roger and Liv, Peter shows up with a flamethrower attachment, brand new, and burns all the little eggs, or the big egg, and all the little mantids. Well, how did he show up? Well, he knew he couldn't wander to find his son, so he turned his tracker back on. Government came for him, and he cut a deal. They need to find his son. He needs to go to his son, and in exchange, he will do missions for them. Now his son's like, aren't you going to turn your tracker back off? Well, that would not be right. I gave my word. Of course. Harry rushes to the clinic where, in order to save Asta, he gives her a transfusion of his blood. The reason Joshua didn't die after tangling with the Mantid is because he's half alien. Therefore, if Asta gets some alien DNA, she might be able to fight off the infection. And she does. And as she puts it, she wakes up surrounded by all the people she loves. It's just like the Wizard of Oz. Ben and Kate have a heart-to-heart and realize they've been not letting Max be who he is. And so they're going to have to let him be who he is and not try to overprotect him as they were doing. And we end with Harry and Asta eating at the diner, and Asta's putting it away. Apparently she's developed the same appetite Harry has from his DNA. And she talks about her out-of-body experience and how she helped her realize she does have to go outside of patients and discover her true self. And Harry is okay with that because he realizes he too has to leave. He wants to go find Heather and then possibly get married now that he's alien again. And there's always children. And then that night, while Asta's in bed, she suddenly wakes up and says, they're here. So, our last episode is going to have one last alien to deal with. But it's pretty good. They've wrapped up most everything so far. There's just some loose ends. And, again, a little sad the show's ending, but I think it's going to end pretty well with everybody happy. Hopefully. Well, until next time, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you then.